I sense a lack of presence in this world. I sense a lack of 100% heart-to-heart communication, heart-to-heart eye contact, soul to soul. I sense a lack of presence. Whenever I'm walking past someone on the street, whether it's a child, fucking infant, old person, actually, maybe not an old person, but middle-aged person, some fat guy, I always sense that they don't fucking have something. They're not there. They're like a soulless corpse. They're just walking by, getting their days over with. Chances are they're all working 9 to 5s or something, with their soul sucked out of them from 9 to 5. And partly the reason why I believe that they're all so gloomy and so soulless is because they don't look you in the eyes. At least that's a part of the equation. They don't look you dead in the eyes with a smile like the olden times, like a fucking gentleman would, like a old granny walking by with her fucking cane or like push chair, something to hold her up, right? They don't give you that same level of presence. Think about it. Have you ever had a scenario where you sat down on a table, maybe you're having a conversation with someone else, and there's just this guy that you're having conversation with, and guess what? He has stunning presence. His presence is overwhelming. Whenever you're describing like a story that you're trying to tell him, he looks you dead in the eyes. Dead in the eyes. And he doesn't fucking waver. Even worse, he just doesn't blink. He's so like interested in you and in your story. He's listening to every single fucking thing that comes out of your vocal cords, every single stutter, every single word that comes out of your mouth, that it's a little bit frightening. Chances are it's so fucking frightening that you may even start fucking up on your words. Like, oh my god, why is he listening to me so fucking attentively? Why is he staring at deep into my fucking soul? And I believe those are the opposite ends of the spectrum. The fucking fat old guy in his middle 30s walking past with a gloomy eyes, maybe just literally doing this, right? Doing that, or like just fucking giving you the shittest fucking presence ever, as opposed to the old person or the person that's listening to you so fucking attentively, listening to your stories. And chances are most of these people on the other side of the spectrum, where they're listening to you and being so fucking attentive to every single micro movement you're doing, it's probably just old people and someone that maybe is really attracted to you, or maybe whenever you're telling a super intriguing story. And this side is just a guy that works a fucking 9 to 5, has his soul sucked out of him, probably drinks on the weekend, is a weekend warrior. And why I'm telling you this is because breath is such a fucking important part of it. I know this is, you probably thought at first, why the fuck is he talking about eye contact when this is a video about 6 breathing techniques that increase your stress, decrease your stress, increase your dopamine, etc., etc. But I believe eye contact and deep presence, looking deep into someone's soul whenever they're speaking, to tell if they're speaking the truth or not, that and breath are closely interlinked. At least that's what I believe. Because I've been looking into spirituality, deeply into spirituality, looking at people like David Dida, John Wineland, just all of these spiritual people, digging deeper and deeper and deeper to find the true answers, to find more about the book, The Way of the Superior Man, to find more details, because I just felt like The Way of the Superior Man was just the surface level thing. And so a big correlation in the spiritual industry, the spiritual space, is breathing. And this is also scientific, by the way. It's not all just woohoo fucking hippie shit. If you breathe deeply into your diaphragm, deep into your stomach, and then to your chest, and then to your head, and then all the way back down, out, slower than you inhale, then you won't be in your head. And if you're not in your head, the more attentive you can listen to someone, the more attentively, the more with intention, the more presence you can give someone. So I have two personal stories here that really explain it insanely well. One story was with me with zero presence, zero breath, and the other is with 100% presence and 100% breath. So the first story was me and a blonde crush of mine in secondary school. She was quite pretty and she was popular, so if I got her, my status would increase. But I looked like a fat, chubby kid. And honestly, I'll show you the picture anyway, so I'll have that on the screen as I'm talking. Essentially, I sat behind her in English, and knowing me at the time, I literally sat in inaction. I could not speak a single word out of my mouth to talk to her. I sat in inaction, and I've literally bathed in that bitter feeling of inaction. But then one day she had to turn around, stare directly into my eyes when she could have asked anyone else. Directly into my eyes, and she probably did that because she had a sort of feeling that I did like her. Like rumors were going around and shit. Yeah, that's probably why. So she looked me directly into the eyes and asked me what the time was. And guess what I did, bro? Guess what I did? I had a watch at the time, which the picture you saw earlier was probably explaining it. But I had this watch that I was so proud of, and I thought I could raise her up with this watch. So guess what I did? I did this. Put it on the table and did this. This is what I did. And so she looked at the watch, looked at me with a little bit of a weird face, and she turned back around. And then nothing else happened because I'm a fucking inactionable bastard, at least at the time. And what I forgot to mention to you was the type of feeling I felt. When she looked at me dead in the eyes, I froze up. My body went completely fucking stiff. I had a million thoughts racing through my head. Thinking, oh, is my hand placed correctly? Oh, why am I shaking? And my nervous system was quite literally going on fire. Like, literally going on fire. From head to toe, I remember getting these, like, sort of waves of hotness. Like, waves of just all of my muscles activating, and straight after the wave as well, I was drenched in sweat just by her looking at me, and my hands were shaking as well. Now the next story is with M, and this is quite recent, so I'm not sure I should give a lot of details on this story. But essentially, I'm walking into class and I've been looking at this girl for quite a while. We've been exchanging eye contact and smiles for a while. But once again, I haven't really done anything to, like, get her into a conversation with me. And it just so happens that this time she sits next to me. And because this class, we get to choose our seats. And oftentimes after like 3 lessons, the teacher just randomly goes to us and tells us to literally move seats and just mix it up a little bit. And so me and her, knowing that we do actually sort of like each other from having multiple instances of eye contact and smiles, which we've had with literally no one else. We knew. And that first time she sat next to me and we had that first lesson together, done all of the group activities together, talked, the teacher says, ask us a question and then think in your groups, think on your tables. It was like a feeling I've never felt before. The presence was amazing. I looked her deep in the eyes, made some fucking nice jokes, got along real nice, lots of smiles, it was the type that wasn't just her being friendly, if you get what I mean. It was just because almost every 5 seconds or so, we'd be looking at each other again with intense smiles. And at this time, it just so happened to be convenient that I was looking into spirituality and deep breaths and presence, masculine, feminine polarities, the book, The Way of the Superior Man. And so I knew what presence was. I knew what masculine energy was. And so I did one of the practices like grounding, which is literally just feeling everything in your lower body to be more heavy and deeply breathing down to your lower belly, to your chest, and then to your head. And then with a long exhale, longer than your inhale. And so from doing that fucking millions of times, man spreading subconsciously, which is interesting when I'm looking at this woman. And so that is the difference between strong presence, breathing, and low presence, not breathing. Now, breathing method number 1 is the Wim Hof method. And by far, this is the best breathing method for recovery, for getting into a state of readiness and getting into a state of presence, filling your brain with oxygen, literally, physically, biologically, filling your brain with oxygen. And in turn, it sort of acts as a break. It acts as a brain break. So let's say you've been working for 3 or 4 hours. You've been doing some hard work that's so demanding on your brain. And after that work bout, your brain feels like complete bullshit, feels fatigued, feels lethargic. And you literally classify yourself as a dumb person now. And the best way to recover from this is a cold shower paired with the Wim Hof method. You don't have to do the cold shower, but honestly, it works in tangent with each other. Yeah, tangent or tandem. I'm not sure. And when I say this is a good brain break, it is the best type of brain break, alongside a walk in the garden or something, a walk in the park. And this is literally paralleled. It's a really, really good thing to make sure you can work fucking 24/7. Like, just work 3 or 4 hours, cold shower, do this, work another 2 hours, do the same thing, work another hour, and then you can be a fucking maniac at work. And in case you're wondering what the Wim Hof method is, I'll link it down in the description below. It's a guided breathing meditation by some guy who is just insanely good with the healthy stuff, insanely good with the cold exposure, cold therapy, and it honestly serves as the best brain break. Number 2 is Andrew Huberman's physiological sigh. Now, I don't think it's directly Andrew Huberman's. He probably didn't invent it, he probably didn't discover it, but he did bring it to my attention, and that's what matters. So, the physiological sigh is by far the best exercise to get yourself relaxed. Maybe you're talking to a really, really attractive girl. In that case, either physiological sigh would work, or just simply deeply breathing would work. So what it is basically long inhale until your stomach's completely full, and then to your chest, and then to your head, and then you have to manage to sneak in another tiny breath on top of that. And what that does is literally, like, this is bro science because I forgot the actual science, but it opens up your fucking alveoli into your lungs, and it makes you take in more oxygen. And then the more oxygen you have, the more high you feel, the more oxygen you have, the more present, the better your mental state is going to be. And after those 2 steps, the best thing to do is a long exhale, longer than both of these combined, out through your mouth. And these 2 steps where you're inhaling, it's through your nose. 3 is basic diaphragmic breathing, and this is where you literally just breathe down into your stomach, feel the bottom of your stomach, and the best case scenario is you feel that your balls slightly move a little bit, and you feel fulfilled, you feel whole with that breath, you feel like you've gotten that oxygen in times of fucking carbon dioxide. It's hard to explain this when you don't have the science knowledge for it, but essentially you should really be breathing like this your whole entire life, just breathing deep into your belly. And the more times you breathe like this, the better your overall life quality, or so it's said in the spiritual space. And so another version of this to actually maximize and make this sort of like a workout, make this sort of like a session of diaphragmatic breathing, instead of just like building yourself a habit like reminding yourself every 2 minutes or just every moment or so, just reminding yourself to breathe down to your belly. Instead of doing that, you can also, if you're specifically wanting to go into a flow state better, and just in case you don't know what a flow state is, I have a video on that. I'll just link it down in the description as well. And so I actually found this breathing on a Forbes site, and I was like, oh shit, this is actually just basic diaphragmatic breathing, but just in a 25-minute session. So it says here, I've literally written down the paragraph, so I'll just read it for you. To start, play binaural beats on Spotify. So binaural beats are good for the brain. It's like fucking 40 hertz frequency for focus or whatever. Grab a blindfold and lay down on your back. Begin to concentrate your mind on an upcoming project or task. Now take a deep breath into your belly and your chest, and then exhale out of your mouth. Do this for 25 minutes and watch the clarity start to stream in. For peak experiences, I recommend guided sessions by a breathwork coach specializing in flow state. While there are many forms of breathwork, a circular connected technique of double inhale and single exhale for 25 minutes is focused intention is the most effective to access flow. So it said there double inhale, but I think you can do this with basic diaphragmatic breathing as well. It still serves the same purpose. So basically this is just 25 minutes of binaural beats, blindfold, focusing on your task, and doing fucking 25 minutes worth of physiological size or diaphragmatic breathing. Now number 4 is one of my favorites. It's box or tactical breathing. So there's 2 names for it. There's box breathing because it literally, if you draw it out, it looks like a box, or tactical breathing, which the Navy SEALs name it after. You can sort of imagine it as inhale for 4 seconds, hold that inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, inhale for 4 seconds, and then so on and then so on and then so on until you feel ready. And this actually works like fucking amazingly if you're a little bit burnt out from a social interaction, or maybe you're just down in the deep darks of bad mental state. Maybe you're being really negative for some reason. Maybe you just want to bring yourself back up to that baseline of functionality. You can just start breathing like this, and then chances are you'll have like a better workout, a better social interaction, a better flow state by just doing this. And this is sort of like a on-the-go version of everything I've mentioned so far. Number 5 is NSDR. This is insane for learning. This is like taking a nap without taking a nap. Now, I used to be a big fan of NSDR as a sort of brain break. After doing 3 hours of deep work, I used to do NSDR and cold showers. But then I rediscovered the power of Wim Hof and the Wim Hof method, and that served a more powerful brain break than NSDR. But what NSDR is insanely good for, what its strengths are, is it's insanely good for your learning. So let's say you've done 3 hours of reading or whatever, or studying something. The best thing you can do is probably just do some NSDR, because according to Andrew Huberman, it rewires some neuroplasticity, neural networks in your brain that makes all the learning you've done solidified into your long-term brain or whatever. And this also acts as a nap without actually falling asleep. And I'll link 2 links in the description below with 2 different variations. One is with Andrew Huberman guiding you through the NSDR himself, which is like a 10-minute one. And if you're wanting more of a break, then there is also a 20-minute one. And what I find this especially good for is people that don't function well from naps. So I have never been a nap person myself. I've always been a sleep for a long time and then wake up for a long time, sleep for a long time, wake up for a long time. Naps have never really worked for me. Whenever I wake up from a nap, I just want to sleep more and I feel more lethargic. I've never snapped awake from a nap and ready to go. I've never really done that before. And the last and final one is something that's not really qualified. It's not really anything special, but it did work for a couple of days when I did use it. But honestly, now I just do a little bit of diaphragmatic breathing. But this is something I got from a video of a guy doing, I don't know, I tried improving my HRV for 30 days. And essentially one of the exercises he did to prime his workout and make his workout better is 3 seconds inhale, 6 seconds hold, and 12-second exhale. So you can imagine that the 3-second inhale must be kind of powerful and fast, because it's 3 seconds and you have to make up for it with a fucking 12-second exhale. And apparently this is a good way to reignite your passion for working out, and also a good way to prime yourself to go and have a better workout with better muscle engagement. And with that being said, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. But before you go, I want to quickly do a shameless plug for my new product that I'm actually kind of proud of. I've spent like literally 3 weeks building and making and planning this product, this lean, high ticket product that I firmly believe is one of my proudest creations. Honestly, it's risk-free, it's high ticket, it's high value, and honestly, I get to hold your hand through something that I love doing myself. So if you're interested in fitness, or you're interested in building an insanely good body, and I guess building some foundations in your mind that you can keep forever and ever, and just keep on working away at it even when I'm gone efficiently, then you can check it out in the link description below. In a bit, bro.